technology is rampant in agriculture. We've been using some drones to do a little spraying. You may have seen we've had a couple videos online.
Yeah.
So that's something that's coming along that we're looking into purchasing a couple of our own drones to do some spraying when it gets wet, like today.
Yeah.
You know, where we can get out in the field a little quicker.
Yeah.
So.
Welcome to another episode of Small Town Grit. I'm your host, Corey Haubs, and I have Dave and Tyler Rupprecht with Zwerk Farms. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I finally got you in here, but it took a big rain day today.
Yep. It's a struggle for us when the weather's nice. We don't like to leave the field, but
Yeah.
I appreciate you being patient.
I kind of thought during the summer you guys didn't do much, but I think I saw you yesterday in the sprayer.
Yeah, I was out in the sprayer I've been out in the sprayer for a few days in a row here, but we're pretty well caught up, thankfully, before the rain hit. So
Yeah.
Tyler kind of lives in the sprayer. He and Jeff, that's kind of their thing, and so they live in that machine for sure. Yeah. So yeah.
So you guys, Zwerk Farms has been 70 years, or has been a collaboration of different farms over the years, or?
You know, it's going on. Actually, it started in the early 40s, so it's going on 80. It's going to be probably almost 85 years here shortly. Arnold's Zwerk, which is my wife Lisa, her grandfather started the farm, and in the 40s. So yeah, we're coming up into 80 years and working on the fourth generation. Tyler will be the fourth generation to kind of take over the business, and so yeah, it's exciting.
So you have a couple. So just so I know, because like when I was a kid in farming, it was kind of almost like a hobby farming. But this is legitimate, true, like a business, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. You know, the farm years ago, farms were kind of very similar. They all had some livestock. Guys grew crops. I mean, it was pretty typical years ago. And then things kind of started to specialize. And in the 70s, there were a lot of hogs raised on the Zwerk farm when Mike and Larry and Arnold had it.
Yeah.
Hogs went away. The livestock went away probably in the 70s, and they turned into just a cash crop farm. And of course, we're in the Saginaw Valley here. If you're familiar with this area. Ton of specialty crops, right? We grow everything from dry beans to pickles to potatoes to sugar, obviously sugar beets. And so we're in a very, very unique area in Michigan. And so grow a lot of different crops. And so a lot of guys kind of got out of the livestock, and this area has become more of a cash crop region, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm excited because I grew up on the Howard Sugar Farm, and every other weekend we got to go to the farm and ride in the trucks and do harvesting, and that was just my favorite time of the year.
Yeah.
I don't really remember even doing pickles when I was a kid, but you brought up pickles, and that seems probably the last 20 years probably that you kind of brought pickles to this area?
There have been pickles around here for a long time. Dyke House Pickle Company, which was out on Orange Road. It's where Blasius, if you're familiar with Blasius Inc., where they are today. That was a big pickle company years ago. So there's been pickles in this region for a long time.
Really? So did you guys haul right there?
We've never grown any pickles ourselves. We have a lot of our friends and neighbors that do, but we've never grown pickles specifically.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in 2000, Marty and Jeff, you guys took over the farm. You guys said, it's time.
Yeah. Well, my father-in-law, Larry, and Marty's dad, Mike, worked with their dad, Arnold, for a number of years. And in 2000, Marty and myself came into the operation.
Yeah.
And then our cousin, Jeff Schluckbeer, joined us. And so at that time, it was the three of us that were partners. And, we bought them out, and we've owned it since 2000. And now we're in that process of kind of doing some planning for the next generation, Tyler. And we've got some other young guys, too, that aren't family. So our farm's transitioning a little bit. We're still a family farm. But we've got some guys that work for us that are great young. We've got a super young group of guys that are really intelligent. They're great workers, welders, fabricators, everything you need to be successful in farming. And so we're going to probably be looking at bringing in some of those guys that aren't true family. They are, they're family to us, but they're not our sons or son-in-laws, if you will. Yeah. But Marty's got a son-in-law that may become in the operation. We've got one family from Reese, the Speakermans, that all three of their boys work for us, and they're great. They're great guys, and so we're very fortunate to have that young group.
How many acres did you have in 2000 when you guys took over the farm?
When we started, we farmed about 3,600 acres.
Okay, and you're a little more than double that now?
Yeah, we're 7,500 plus today, roughly, so we've doubled that. We also have a trucking company that we started, and so we've got about 20 trucks and run anything from grain. We haul, in fact, all the Cambria that comes into the Blasius facility over there. We haul all the Cambria for them. We haul some tanks, liquid sugar for our CoOp and some other contractors.
You go right to the factory for Cambria? You go to Minnesota? Is that where it's manufactured?
We pick it up in Le Sueur, Minnesota.
Yeah.
All neat. Yeah.
So, Tyler, fourth generation now, right?
Yeah, yep. I will be the fourth generation.
And you got 2 other brothers, right?
I have 3 other brothers.
3 other brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. And you're the only one that's.
Yep. 2 are machinists, and 1 is a car salesman at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah, but they, I don't know. They just didn't have any real interest in it when they were younger, and that's kind of what I always wanted to do. Even through high school, I liked playing sports and whatnot, but I really liked being on the farm. And I liked being a part of the, the fall activity and on the farm, and that kind of always took precedent in my life. So I've really enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We always pushed our boys to just because the farm was there, I didn't want them to feel like they were obligated. Go out and try something else. If you like something else, that's great. Tyler went out and worked for a steel fabricating company, became he's a fantastic welder and a fabricator, which is a skill that serves us really well on the farm. And so he was there for a couple of years doing some of that and came back and decided he wanted to farm. My other 2 boys, like you said, 2 of them are machinists. They really love doing that kind of work. And Casey's the business guy, if you will. He went to Northwood, and right now he's selling cars. So they all are doing something different, but you gotta do something you like.
Yeah, no, we raised 3 boys too, and it's the same thing. It's like, I want you to experience it, I want you to try it, but I understand it's not for you, and I'm not building this company for you.
Correct.
Because I love what I do, and I want you to love what you do, but it might not be the same. We might not have the same interests.
Right. That's exactly right. Yeah.
So, So a couple of things. You guys tried some different crops over the years, right? That are may just didn't really work out.
Well, we've tried one in particular, if I know where you're going.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you to our sponsors, IRD Homes, Mid-Michigan's top contractor, bringing new builds and renovations to life. Timber Oaks. Timber Oaks offers customized lawn and landscape solutions and is a premier Mid-Michigan lawn care company. Link Excavation, your Mid-Michigan excavating experts, serving Bay, Tuscola, Saginaw, Huron, and Genesee counties.
The farm has grown a lot of the same crops over the 80 years it's been there. We've always grown sugar beets and corn and a lot of dry edible beans, blacks, navy beans, small reds, soybeans, wheat, all that kind of typical crops. But in 2019, obviously, when the hemp bandwagon hit, everybody kind of went into that hot and heavy. We did grow hemp for 2 or 3 years. We actually processed. We were making some CBD, trying to make some CBD oil, which we did. We made some distillate and some other stuff that we still have today that we're still looking to try to sell. But it's a market that just was oversaturated, and it got to a point where we just thought that there wasn't enough profit into it. It was something that we didn't want to pursue any further, so we don't grow any.
I remember that when that came out, and I kind of did some research on the hemp, and it seemed like at times you could have furniture, like exotic furniture was available with some of the process of the hemp.
Yeah. I mean, even today there's stuff that they still make out of hemp fiber, like panels for cars, interior panels for cars, a lot of that stuff. They still do use it. It's just more of a smaller, niche market that doesn't require large, massive farms to produce it. And it kind of was a unicorn market, if you will, at first, and everybody kind of tried to take a piece of it, and it didn't pan out like we thought, but we gave it a shot. So
it's kind of like the gold rush of years ago. Everybody got excited with something new, and you had to try it, and everybody got into it. And it's still there. The market is still there and strong. And obviously, you guys know, even in Vassar here, the other side of that market, the THC market, is very strong. And so it's there, just not on a commercial level, big commercial level. But
I remember it's probably been 5 years, maybe 10 years ago. I messaged you one day. I said, Dave, I noticed you got a whole field of pumpkins. I'm like, what do you do with these pumpkins? And then I was disappointed. You're like, we just plow them under.
Right.
So why planting pumpkins?
That is actually Ann's her stand there that she has in Market. So that's where the pumpkins came from. They're out kind of on some of it's actually their farm, but it kind of intermingled with the ground that we work. But she's got the little roadside stand there, Lou's Market.
Yeah,
that's her gig.
We get her every year to do.
So those are her pumpkins. Yeah.
Did you do like a mass planting one time just to cultivate it over for nutrition purposes, or you ever?
Not pumpkins. We do a lot with cover crops, sunflowers. You've probably seen those. A lot of people like to see the sunflowers. We'll be planting some of those here shortly, but Haven't done anything with pumpkins. We haven't
okay.
found a value to them yet, but I'm not saying we won't. So.
Yeah. So are you guys pretty fortunate that we have some good resources around here with farm dealers, Tri-Country. It used to be Bader's for many years.
Yeah.
Jansen's. Are you guys loyal to certain brands, or is it?
Yes and no. I'll let Tyler answer that.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say that we're loyal to one or the other. We have a little bit of both. I run a case sprayer. We run a lot of John Deere equipment on our farm. We actually have a New Holland sprayer now that we run, so a little different color. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I wouldn't say that we're not loyal to one or the other. We give everything a try, and we see what works for us, and we kind of just use the best that fits our farm.
Mm-hmm.
There's different price points out there and different things that this equipment does. So, I don't know. We kind of give everything a try, I guess, if you will.
Yeah, there's a reason we have every piece of equipment, whether it's a John Deere, a Case IH, or a New Holland. It's because it has something that one of the other brands doesn't offer, and so we're always dedicated and committed to the dealers that we work with, whether it's Tri-County or whether it's Jansen's in Reese on the pieces that we buy from them. But we need to buy a piece that works for us, whether it's red, blue, green, or yellow.
Yeah, so, especially the amount of acres you guys have to do, especially at harvest time.
Yeah,
I mean, technology there has come a long ways, right? I mean, I remember these combine heads, and
it's incredible.
Yeah. Our sprayer. I mean, somebody told me it was like, I don't know, 80-row planter or something. It was, maybe not that big. I mean, I might exaggerate.
Yeah, we're actually building a planter this winter that's going to be 64-row, and there's some guys talking about making 170 plus. So there's some big planters out there and some big equipment out there, but just continues to get bigger.
Is it more advantage to do, obviously, to have a large planting, do 70 rows versus, I mean, it's more fuel, it's it's logistics.
There's an efficiency to a point, and then sometimes, depending on how big your farms are, sometimes you go the other way, you lose some efficiency, right? But the amount of acres that we have and the larger tracts of land that we have, especially the ground that we farm in Marlette, the bigger planters, we can just make, better time, and it's more efficient. So yes, if it has to fit in your operation, but we have both. We have a smaller planter, and for some it's a larger planter. We have a 32-row currently plus a 48-row. The 48-row that we have, we're going to convert into, we think, a 64-row is our intention, or we're going to build a 64-row. So we're going to go a little wider on the one, but we'll still keep the smaller one for the pieces of ground that.
So let's talk more about technology. I mean, is everything GPS driven? Is everything mapped? I mean, is it set it and forget it?
Yes.
Everything
is.
Yeah.
All of the above.
Everything's GPS. Everything's mapped. We map every single pass on, whether it's planting, spraying, cultivating, ripping in the fall. Everything's mapped, and we get all those, the acres per hour, gallons of fuel used, everything comes right to a internal database, so we can kind of really factor out what our cost of production is at the end of the year. So
on each and every field. So it tells you, what tractor went across your field, how long it took you to do that particular operation, how much fuel you used. I mean, even to the extent our sprayers will tell you what the weather, when you were spraying, what's the wind speed, where was the wind out of. If you have an issue with overspray or something, you can go back and look and see. So a lot of data, there's been a lot of data, but there's more and more data, and it's just finding a way to use it to make it work for you and make, how does it make you more efficient? Not that you're just sitting in front of a computer for hours crunching data with no value.
Yeah.
But technology is rampant in agriculture. We've been using some drones to do a little spraying. You may have seen, we've had a couple videos online. Yeah. So that's something that's coming along that we're looking into purchasing a couple of our own drones to do some spraying when it gets wet, like today, where we can get out in the field a little quicker.
Yeah.
So,
It is very interesting. Yeah. Is it overwhelming, though? I mean, especially like at harvest time, or even to get everything planted? I mean, you got windows, right?
Oh, absolutely.
So
that's kind of where the larger equipment comes into play. You get these windows where, as of this year, it's been so wet and rainy. That larger equipment allows you to get out there, and when you have a moment to get something done, you can get a lot done in a heartbeat, pretty much. So.
Yeah. But weather certainly is a big stress for us. Obviously, if it's too wet to get in planting, you start worrying about whether you get it in on time or not. But like he said, the bigger equipment helps you pick that window. Maybe you've only got 4 or 5 days, but you can get a lot of acres covered in those 4 or 5 days. So,
what about field drainage? Is everything tiled now? Is that pretty much a mandatory? Because
Yeah.
I don't think in the 80s and early 90s it was hit and miss on.
There's been tile. We've got farms that have tile from the 60s. So years ago they used clay tile, right? Individual 12-inch tile is originally how they started draining fields. Yeah, most of our ground is tiled. I won't say we farm some that's, some is tiled better than others. So some of it we rent, some of the landowners, whether or not they want to spend the money to put tile in. We farm some that probably could use more, and
Right.
But everything we own, we tile it very well. Years ago, you might have tiled it on 50 or 60 foot wide, and today we're going in and putting a couple strings in between to tighten it up. It's just the more drainage you have, the better.
Yeah.
The better. So.
Especially on a day like today, huh?
Yeah.
Yep.
Did you check the rain gauge before you came?
I think we were working on a couple inches
at least
already,
yeah,
and
at
more
least,
to come.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
It rained a lot last night, I can tell you that.
yeah. Yep, it did.
So you guys have roughly 20 employees running around on a daily basis?
Yeah, there's
20 plus.
There's 21 of us
Yeah.
full time, and then we have a lot of part time guys.
Yeah.
We have some part time truck drivers that help us out year round when we get really busy, and then quite a few in the fall. So we'll have up to 30 guys, spring and fall when we're really busy. So
Yeah, kind of same like us with seasonal wise.
Yeah.
When it's jamming, you need a few extra bodies. And
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how's the family work on the farm? Is it just in between those planning and seasonal things, you just make the best out of it? Because obviously during harvest time, it's almost impossible to get away unless.
Yeah, I mean, to get away on a vacation at certain times of the year, we have to be a little selective when we go, obviously.
Right.
But we're big on family. We really, if our guys need to take off for a weekend for whatever, birthday party, a wedding, this or that, we cover for each other. We want our guys to spend time with their families when they can. Obviously, there's times when we're busy and we don't make everything, but you try to get to as much as you can, and so. We're always big on helping those, make sure everybody has an opportunity to spend as much time with their families as they
Yeah.
can.
I knew a farmer, he loved to snowmobile because that was his off season. So he was going up north as soon as he could. And
Yep.
A lot of them do. It's a hobby for a lot of farmers.
Yeah.
maybe some
Snowmobiling.
ice fishing. And when we do get
for
ice,
sure.
last year wasn't the greatest.
Right.
So
Yeah.
what's any big plans for Zwerk Farms? I mean, always evolving and changing and technology and, is there...
Yeah. Well, the biggest change, like I said, is we're getting to a point where Marty, Jeff, and myself are ready to kind of start slowing down. We're working on a succession plan. We have been for a couple of years, and we're going to start bringing in. Tyler's already in our operation. He came in a couple of years ago as a partner.
Yeah.
And like I said, we've got a couple other young guys that aren't family members
Yeah.
that have shown some interest, and we're going to start bringing them in and giving them some ownership in the company and more responsibility. And so we're going to start kind of phasing ourselves out. We're certainly not ready for retirement, but our business, there's a lot of equipment and just a lot of moving parts, and it takes a number of years to try to get all that transferred. And so we're starting that already today. So
Is it hard to let go or to think to let go?
no, I don't think so. I mean, I think the whole point of a business, and especially a family business, is you want to see it continue on, right? You want to see
Right.
that legacy continue.
Yeah.
So I'm excited that we've got a young generation that wants to continue. And I think the same thing with, my father-in-law and uncle. I think they were happy to see us come in. They wanted to see that business continue. So is it, at some point when I'm retired, will you be sad that you're done? Yeah, maybe, but that's what you work your life for. Is right.
When you took over the farm, were they always in your business too, or were they pretty good about it?
Yeah, no. We wanted them there as mentors. We needed them there as mentors, and same thing for these guys. We're going to be here even when we're kind of out.
Fast.
Yeah, we'll be there to help them learn the ropes.
Yeah,
and
that's exciting. That's exciting to think that.
Yeah,
I hope you're
absolutely.
excited.
I am. I'm excited, and I'm really blessed to have the guys around us that we do. I work with a lot of really good guys, and just thankful for that because it takes a lot of people to that. I mean,
Right.
I can't imagine the amount of people that you have under your thumb a lot of days. So I just feel blessed to be able to be given this opportunity and to have the people that are going to be coming along on this ride with me. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So what's it mean to be a Michigan farmer? I mean, providing food for everybody. I mean, there's got to be rewarding at some point, right? I mean,
Oh, absolutely.
know that
Yeah.
what we're eating every day
Yeah.
or whatever it might be.
Well, the interesting thing is, Michigan, if you're aware, we are probably second only to California in the different crops that we grow. So we are one of the most diverse states in the nation, right? I mean, we mentioned all the crops we talked about before. So We're probably second or third in the nation for dry bean production. Our co-op, Michigan Sugar Co-op, which is owned by the growers, so all of us that grow are owners of that company. We have 4 processing plants here in Michigan. We're the 3rd or 4th largest sugar co-op in the country. So we have some really dedicated farmers here that have taken steps to make sure that those specific industries stay alive. And so every day when we go into the grocery store, we see products every day that have our ingredients in them, right? We work with Kellogg's, we work with Post, we work with Dannon yogurt, you name it. Just about anything you eat, it can have some sugar in, or some starch, or some wheat, or some flour. And so, it's a great feeling to know that you have a hand in putting a lot of that stuff in the grocery store.
With food costs, you're probably like, man, I need a little percentage,
yeah, I know we're not getting enough, but yeah.
Well, awesome. You got to get in the hops business and have a little beer, all right?
Yeah, well, the craft brewery industry, that's
been pretty hot here this last decade here in Michigan.
I think there's some guys dabbling in it.
Yeah. Up in Traverse City area, there's a lot. You go up there, I mean, they're everywhere.
Yeah, on a commercial commercial part.
Yeah. Large hop farms up in that.
And that's the neat thing about Michigan. You can grow a lot of that unique stuff here and do well with it. So you just need someone to take a chance and see if you can make it work.
Right.
Yeah.
But maybe not Zwerk Farms, right?
Well, we'll never say never. Never say never.
Well, good. Anything else you want to talk about the farm today before we let you go? Oh, great information today.
I don't know. I think you pretty much covered it.
Yeah? All right.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate what you guys do in the community. You guys are very rooted here, invested in our area, and obviously the employees that are local here too. So it's always nice to see that you guys are invested in giving back to our community. So
yeah, well, we appreciate all the opportunity we've had, and we love the community here, and always look to help out any way we can. So
yeah, great. Well, thanks again, guys.
Appreciate it.
Thanks,
Corey.